Hello everybody, it's Tuna. Today I wanted to explain a strategy that I've been running now for a while that has been very successful in generating a ton of currency in the 3.21 expansion. That is something that I've been running also last league, and that is Harvest. So Harvest is actually quite insane because Harvest basically scales with quantity and pack size, which incentivizes you to roll maps, and also scales additively with the quantity that you gain from the altars. Specifically blue altars, because blue altars have the benefit of giving you 50% increased effective upsides. The downside of blue altars, of course, is that you don't get as much bubblegum currency and consistent gains, but because of this upside, this synergizes really well with Harvest, which is why we choose that. Also, the blue altars don't have any sort of like really bad downsides like the red ones. Like for example, red downsides would be like meteors or degenerate like degen every time you press a flask and so on and so forth. So that means that like we will pick blue altars for this strategy, and the tree is going to look something like this. So I will link this tree in the description, and you will be able to sort of scroll back here with the arrow and see all of the things that I've added. If you don't have enough skill points, of course, to fill all of that out. But this is essentially what the core tree is. So let me just explain basically what the core tree is. We will gain some strong boxes because essentially strong boxes is just basically free money, and we will path up and we will grab the maps. From there, we will go and we will take all of the harvest nodes. These harvest nodes are going to give us, additional benefits. Like for example, increase 10% chance to spawn an additional monster. Also 50% chance to contain an additional harvest. And on top of that, we'll also get like small chances for them to be duplicated. Here, additional chance for crops not to wilt, and also 60% increased chance to have a T4 plant, which is still going to be, very low chance, but when you do get it, that's basically just like an injection of 1000 life force, which is just really good. So why are we taking all of this quantity, and why are we taking the top hat? So the top hat, essentially what it's going to do is that it's going to be scaling our map modifiers. The problem with that is that map modifiers are going to make maps a lot harder, right? So you're going to need kind of a strong character to be able to get through this. But we will circumvent that sort of with the shrines. So if you do find a shrine, if you do find that things are getting pretty tough, click the shrines right before you go into the harvest and just smash that out as fast as possible. So you're getting as much quantity and pack size as possible. The next thing you want is the Growing Hordes keystone. So Growing Hordes is going to give us pack size depending on what scare we use. And if you look at the strat summary, if you look at the strategy right here, we're going to be using the cheapest rusted scarab. So what that's going to do is that's going to add an extra 20% pack size on top of the pack size that we already have on our maps. The pack size is going to be scaling the life force we get, because it is going to increase the amount of monsters that can spawn from the harvests themselves. And each monster has a chance to drop a set amount of life force. Essentially, you're seeing how things are sort of scaling out of control here, especially when you then multiply that by the quantity of your map, which is going to be, upwards of like 100 to 200, in some cases even 260, depending on how many altars you manage to click in your maps. Which is basically going to net you anywhere between 3,000 to 6,000 life force per map on average. And at the current prices, life force is about 1 to 9,000. So 1 divine for 9,000 life force. So that means you will be making about half a divine per map on average. And of course, you got to deduct the costs from that, so it's going to be a little bit less. But you can see that things are getting pretty good. Here we can look at the sextants that we need. So the sextants that we need are actually going to be duplicate life force. You can buy any of the 3 plants. It doesn't really matter. You want Sacred Grove, and you also want pack size in unidentified maps. And this is going to be used only if you roll unidentified maps. I will show you later how you roll maps, but essentially you're going to be using the sextant for those maps, because that is just going to make basically it's going to make up for the fact that it's not a 6 mod map. And it's going to add a ton of monsters in there, and it's going to help with the juice. So how much does the sextants cost? You can see here that you can find them on trade. You just search for a harvest in area contains at least 1 plant, and then uses remaining, make sure that is 4. You select those 2 and you can look for any. And then what you want to do, you want to scroll down to here. As you can see, everybody's listing them for sextants. What you want to do is you want to select chaos orbs, and you do that. You see that they're selling for about 45 chaos to 50 chaos, so on and so forth. I suspect that, like, of course, after this video, the price of these might go up a little bit, but until it gets to like 100 chaos, it's going to be very, very profitable still, and not that big of a deal. So yeah, you'll be able to buy these, or you can also alternatively buy them on TFT in bulk, of course, if you do not wish to go through trade. But if you just whisper some of these people and ask, do you have bulk? You know, some of them might do, so you can do it that way, of course. Another sextant that you do want is the Sacred Grove. So Sacred Grove is gonna force a harvest into your maps, and you can see here that it's also 40 chaos on trade, and on TFT it should be around 40-50 chaos as well. So you search for Sacred, and it's going to be about 40 chaos, as you can see. Alright, so once you've got your Sextants and your Scarabs, you're pretty much good to go, right? You're already good to go. You select Fortune Favors the Brave, because when you pair that up with Shaping the Valley, that is going to give you an extra 10% pack size in your maps. And so you select Fortune Favors the Brave, and you put your Sextants on, and you choose the blue influence, and that is pretty much all you need to do to get going. But the very important thing here to do next is actually how to roll your maps, because you don't want to be running any sort of map with this strategy. You want to be running maps that are basically going to have like as much quantity and pack size as possible. Alright, so let me show you real quick the type of maps that I've been running, how I roll my maps and that kind of stuff, because it's really important to do this properly so that you can get the most amount of life force as possible from your maps. So first of all, you will be running either Crimson Temple or Jungle Valley. Jungle Valley works because it does not spawn any boss altars. What that means is that you'll basically be able to spawn more quantity altars, because it removes 33% of the choices, you know, from the altars. There's usually player gains, there's minion gains, and there's boss gains. So if you remove 33% of the choices, you will basically have a higher chance of getting quantity altars. Quantity altars are, of course, what we want to be able to scale the amount of quantity, you know, as much quantity as possible. I don't know what is happening to my hideout. It's flickering, but, you know, we'll just ignore that. So what you want to do is you want to grab, obviously, Chisel, Alk, and Vals. You want to be chiseling, you want to be alking, and then you want to be valing. You need to make sure that you are looking for modifiers that you can't run, of course, before you val. So then what you do there is you want to just val. So we're going to val that, and it's going to be unidentified. So there are three outcomes. Either you go unidentified, or either you go for a high quantity map, or you get a bad quantity map. Bad quantity maps I will put to the side, and I will run them alk and go whenever, you know, I have time, or whenever I'm off stream or something like that. Whereas unidentified maps I will put to the side, because you can run those with this sextant here, the increased pack size in your unidentified maps. That's going to basically offset what you've lost from it being an 8-mod map. But yeah, 8-mod maps are the ones that you're really looking for, and the ones that we will run for this strategy, because when a map has 8 mods and it has like 130 quantity, when you add that on top of the top hat and the quantity here, you will get around 200 quantity on your maps, and then that is going to be on top of that scaled by the quantity that you're finding from the altars. So the quantity that you're finding from the altars is going to be additive to the quantity on your maps, and then you know, everything else on top, like the pack size, is going to multiply that, of course, because if you get like more monsters, they're going to be then dropping more stuff, and that kind of you can see how this is sort of spiraling into you know, being able to provide you with a ton of life force per map, and why this strategy actually ends up working the way it does. So yeah, so you're going to be wanting to pick your, of course, Crimson Temple or Jungle Valley. You set your sextants in. You're going to go for Sacred Grove and the double life force. You can put whatever sextants you want on top of that. Favorite your maps. Make sure that you are favoriting all of your maps, because you want to be sustaining here with singular focus. And then when you put your maps in, you choose 4 of the cheapest scarabs. These are going to give you 5 pack size each. Put that in, and Fortune Favors the Brave with blue influence. And that is basically all you want to do to you know, set up your maps, how you're going to do it, and what you need to do from here is basically just run your maps. And here's a little showcase. And you can see that the map here is scaled to have 190 quantity. So that is obviously a ton of quantity already. The way you will run it is you will basically go through the map. And clear everything before you actually go into your harvest. So I will just like rush through, click all my boxes, you know, kill all the mobs and stuff like that. And I will be hoping for altars to spawn. Because the more altars, as I said, the more altars, the more quantity. And the more quantity, the more juice that you will get from your harvest. So you can see here, we didn't get lucky, so we'll just click basically anything here. Jewel orbs is fine. and we will want to go to the boss as fast as possible, because once we have killed the boss, then we have a higher chance to get the quantity altars. Alright, so boss is down. Now we will have a 33% increased chance to get the altars that give quantity. We will keep progressing throughout the map until we get to the harvest. And you can do whatever extra content you have, of course. So you can see here that I found the harvest and a quantity shrine. So cool. We'll click the quantity. If you're doing blue altars, you need to make sure that you're actually keeping an eye out for the divine shrine. Divine shrine is has the potential to give you, a ton of currency, so you don't want to miss that if it pops up. All right, so we got we got average amount of altars, let's just say. So we got like 4 altars here, and the altars have given us an extra 69% quantity on top of the 200 that we already had, right? That brings us to a total of 268 quantity, which is an absolute ton of quantity, of course. So we go into our harvest, and this is the rule that you will need to follow when you're doing harvests. So you'll see there's a light blue number. The light blue number is what you're always looking for. You want the higher light blue number. So here, blue plants are more expensive, but a light blue number basically means that you're doubling the amount of life force that you get from that plot. So you need to be going for this number over that number. So if it's 2 and 1, you always go for that one. That's the rule set. If this were to be 1 and 1, on the other hand, then I would choose the blue plot, even though this number is lower than that one. So the rule set is also that you have, if they're equal, if they're both 1 of each seed, then you will take yellow, then you will take blue, and then you will take purple. In that order. However, you need to make sure that obviously the prices can fluctuate, so it really depends there. Yeah, here I will press purple. And I'll just clear through the plot. And you'll see that these drop nothing, but then when you get to these seeds here, that is the ones that are just going to drop a ton of life force. You see 6, but this one has a blue seed, so that's what you're looking for. You can get unlucky, by the way, and not get any blue seeds in your plots, which obviously really sucks, but yeah, I mean, what can you do? And I almost died there because of minus max. Even with a build as tanky as this one, minus max can be extremely rough with the top hat. That is what you want to see right there. 3 seeds is insane. And you will see how much life force we get from that. So we have about like 1,200 right now, 1,300. And once this plot dies, you will see how much more juice we get out of that. And we get around an extra, yeah, we get like an extra 1,100 just from that one. And we didn't proc the 50% chance for the additional plot. We end up coming out of this harvest with a measly 2,200 or 2,400. But this evens out to about 3,000 to 6,000 per map on average, as long as you're following the strategy and as long as you are doing everything correctly. And what that ends up netting you is a ton of currency for very minimal amount of sort of time invested and effort. And it's something that I've just been enjoying doing. Whenever I need currency, whenever I need to fall back and want to make like some currency for a new build, I just go back to harvest. I blast that out. It's very fast. It's very easy. And if you're doing it in Crimson Temple or something like that, it has the potential to give you some extra gains. And yeah. So that is a harvest farming strategy. I hope this has helped anybody who was wondering, anybody who has helped, anybody who has asked me on my stream, of course. I hope this is sort of clarified how I run the strategy. If I've missed anything, let me know, but I think that's about it. And thank you very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and hope to see you guys again soon. Please do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you want to check me out on Twitch, I'm live every day. So yeah, I'll catch you around, boys. Have a good one.